Ranking the last 15 NBA playoffs from least to most aura. Number 15, 2017. From the second Kevin Durant joined the 73-win Warriors, the 2017 NBA playoffs were cooked. This entire postseason was the definition of a foregone conclusion. The Warriors went 12-0 in the West. The Cavs went 12-1 in the East. LeBron was so unchallenged, he literally grabbed a beer from a courtside vendor during live play. The number 1 seed Celtics got humiliated at home, losing Game 2 of the East Finals by 44 points. The one single moment of suspense came in Game 1 of the West Finals, when the Spurs stormed out to a 25-point lead on the Warriors. It looked like we might actually have a series. Then, Zaza slid his foot under Kawhi Leonard, ending his night and the entire playoffs. The Warriors swept the series. Sure, there were moments. Isaiah Thomas's heroic 53-point game was legendary. Westbrook posting a 51-point triple-double was insane. But they both lost. The finals were just the inevitable conclusion. KD hit his dagger over LeBron in Game 3, and Golden State finished their 16-1 run. This was the most predictable, low-stakes postseason in NBA history. Number 14, 2024. In the second round, Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves put together a 20-point comeback in Game 7 to dethrone the defending champion Nuggets. Tyrese Halliburton's Pacers stunned Giannis and Dame and then silenced Madison Square Garden in another Game 7. Luka Doncic dismantled the number 1 seed Thunder. It felt like a true changing of the guard. And then everyone just lost. The conference finals were a joke. The Celtics steamrolled the Pacers in a sweep. The Mavericks handled the Wolves easily. The finals were no better. The Celtics' redemption tour was a 5-game gentleman's sweep where the most memorable moment was Derek White chipping his tooth. Kyrie got booed, Jaylen Brown won MVP, and the Celtics finally hung banner 18. But all the real aura was burned out by the third round. Number 13, 2015. The 2015 playoffs had all-time moments. In the first round, a hobbled Chris Paul hit a falling, banked-in game winner over Tim Duncan to end the Spurs' title defense in Game 7. In the second round, Derrick Rose hit a miracle bank shot buzzer beater, only for LeBron to hit his own iconic baseline buzzer beater 2 days later, famously vetoing his coach's play call. So why is it ranked this low? Because injuries killed the final product. By the time we got to the finals, the product was completely compromised. Kevin Love was already out with a dislocated shoulder. Then, Kyrie Irving fractured his kneecap in Game 1. What we were left with was a one-man band LeBron waging a heroic but hopeless war against the rising Warriors dynasty. The series gave us the birth of the death lineup and a surprise finals MVP in Andre Iguodala, but it was a total what if of a series. Number 12, 2012. The 2012 playoffs had legendary moments, but we gotta be honest, the whole thing was cursed from the start. Just hours into Game 1 of the first round, reigning MVP Derrick Rose tore his ACL in a game that was already decided. The league's most electric player was gone, Chicago's title hopes evaporated, and the entire Eastern Conference bracket was blown wide open. LeBron finally got his crown. His legacy-saving Game 6 in Boston, a 45-15 masterpiece, was incredible and arguably the best thing that happened this playoffs. And the West had its moments. The young Thunder came back from an 0-2 deficit to dethrone the Spurs. The Clippers staged a 27-point comeback against Memphis, but the finals felt anticlimactic. The Heat handled the 23-year-old Thunder in 5 games. This was a solid playoffs, but it just doesn't have enough to move up the list. Number 11, 2023. The 2023 playoffs were pure, uncut anarchy. An 8-seed Miami Heat team led by a possessed Jimmy Butler delivered one of the all-time upsets, dropping 56 points to humiliate the number 1 seed Bucks. Dillon Brooks called LeBron James old and promptly got sent home by the 7-seed Lakers. We got the Light the Beam Kings in a 7-game classic against the Warriors, which ended with Steph Curry dropping a 50-point Game 7 bomb. Jason Tatum saw that and answered with 51 points of his own in another Game 7. It was madness. The Heat went up 3-0, the Celtics clawed back to 3-3, capped by Derek White's impossible 0.2-second buzzer beater to force Game 7.
It's off to Smart for the 7th game.
The greatest comeback ever was teed up, and then Boston got blown out on their home floor. Meanwhile, the Nuggets just kind of won. They swept the Lakers, they dismantled the Heat in 5 games, and Jokic completed one of the most statistically dominant runs in history. And his legendary reaction was, "Job is done, we can go home now." This was a fun playoffs. Honestly, every NBA playoffs is fun for me. But in this list, it takes a complete playoffs to rank high. This one had its moments, but the Western Conference was pretty uneventful due to Jokic's dominance, and nobody thought the Heat had a chance in the finals. Number 10, 2025. The 2025 playoffs were a complete reset of the entire league. In the first round, the Timberwolves eliminated the unbeatable new Laker duo of LeBron and Luka. Giannis was gone in round 1. Steph Curry and Jason Tatum both went down with series-ending injuries in round 2. This chaos cleared the path for Tyrese Halliburton, who went crazy. His Pacers upset the number 1 seed Cavs, winning a game they trailed by 7 with under a minute left. In the Eastern Conference Finals, they were down 14 to the Knicks with 2 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock, and they won in overtime. This led to a small market finals against the 68-win Thunder, a juggernaut versus a team of destiny. It became the first Game 7 finals since 2016, but in a moment of pure tragedy, Halliburton tore his Achilles early in Game 7. SGA, who had already won the regular season MVP and the scoring title, seized the moment, winning finals MVP and capping off one of the greatest individual seasons ever. Had Tyrese not gotten injured and the Pacers pulled this off, we're talking about a playoffs that would have rivaled any on this list. But that's not how it went down. Number 9, 2021. In the second round, Kevin Durant's toe was 1 inch from ending Milwaukee's season after a 48-point Game 7 masterpiece. And Ben Simmons, standing directly under the basket, passed up a wide-open, game-tying dunk that cost the number 1 seed 76ers their season. Trae Young became the ultimate villain, hitting a game winner at Madison Square Garden, shushing the crowd, and taking a bow 5 games later. LeBron James was handed his first ever first-round exit, and the Suns won a conference finals game on the Valley Oop, a 0.9-second alley-oop dunk at the buzzer. This all led to Giannis. After a terrifying knee injury that looked like it would end his career, he returned for the finals. Down 0-2, he delivered the block on DeAndre Ayton and finished the Suns with a 50-point 5-block clincher in Game 6, an all-time performance to win a title the hard way. This was a really fun year, but this playoffs really only gave us 2 super memorable moments: Kevin Durant's toe and Giannis's finals block. You could also say Giannis's closeout Game 6. It had aura, but just not on the same level as the rest of the list. Number 8, 2018. The 2018 playoffs are defined by one image: LeBron James, arms outstretched, staring in disbelief as J.R. Smith dribbled out the clock in a tied Game 1 of the finals. LeBron had just dropped 51 points and it didn't matter. That moment broke him. He punched a whiteboard after the game, playing the rest of the series with a broken hand, and the Cavs got swept. The finals was a zero-aura disaster, but the run-up was actually pretty decent. LeBron dragged a roster of scrubs to the finals, hitting a buzzer beater to beat the Pacers and another running buzzer beater to mentally shatter Toronto, birthing the LeBronto meme. He then played all 48 minutes of Game 7 to dethrone the Celtics in Boston. Meanwhile, the real finals was happening in the West. The Rockets were up 3-2 on the KD-led Warriors until Chris Paul pulled his hamstring. In Game 7, Houston missed 27 consecutive threes, an all-time solo run, and an epic Western Conference Finals, all just to serve up the most anticlimactic sweep in modern history. Number 7, 2013. The Spurs were 5.2 seconds away from a title, and Heat fans were literally walking out of the building in disgust. Then, a miracle happened. LeBron missed, Chris Bosh snagged the offensive rebound, and found Ray Allen backpedaling to the corner. Allen, barely setting his feet, rose up and drilled one of the most iconic, dynasty-saving shots in NBA history. That shot saved LeBron's legacy, but the entire finals was an all-time war. Game 1 gave us Tony Parker's impossible buzzer beater, where he tripped, fumbled, recovered, and banked in a shot with 0.1 on the shot clock to seal the win. Game 6 had LeBron, without his headband, turning into a different animal, for a 32-point triple-double to survive overtime. And it all ended in Game 7, with LeBron hitting a clutch dagger jumper and Tim Duncan in pure agony pounding the floor after missing a point-blank hook shot that he would later say will always haunt me. And the run-up to that finals was honestly just as legendary. This is the postseason where Steph Curry had his Hello World coming out party, orchestrating a massive upset and dropping 44 on the Spurs to announce a new era. This is where 5'8" Nate Robinson became a folk hero, scoring 23 points in a single quarter to win a triple overtime classic. And this is where Roy Hibbert delivered the soul-crushing, poster-denying block on Carmelo Anthony, a rejection that cemented the Pacers as the East's biggest threat. Number 6, 2014. The 2014 playoffs opened with the most chaotic first round in NBA history. 5 different series went to a Game 7, and a record 8 games went to overtime. Damian Lillard hit one of the coldest series-winning buzzer beaters ever to eliminate Houston. 37-year-old Vince Carter hit another buzzer beater. Paul Pierce had a series-ending block in Game 7. While all that was happening, the Donald Sterling scandal exploded, forcing Adam Silver to ban an owner for life during the playoffs. The aura didn't stop. The conference finals gave us the Lance Stevenson blows in LeBron's ear meme. Kevin Durant gave his "You the real MVP" speech. The finals were a masterpiece of redemption. The Spurs, avenging their 2013 loss, unleashed the beautiful game. It was a team ball clinic so dominant it broke the Heat's Big Three era for good, ending in a 4-1 beatdown. Number 5, 2022. The 2022 playoffs were an absolute bloodbath. It started when the Celtics handed Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving a brutal 4-0 sweep, a series where Tatum hit a Game 1 buzzer beater and Kyrie was too busy flipping off the crowd. Boston then had to survive a 7-game war against Giannis, who posted a ridiculous 200 points, 100 rebounds, and 50 assists in the series. But the real aura came from the upsets. Jimmy Butler gave us the all-time Tobias Harris over me. Then, facing elimination in Boston, he dropped 47 to force a Game 7, only to miss the game-winning 3 in the final seconds. The main event, however, was Luka. The 64-win Suns were up 2-0. In Game 7, at their house, Luka had 27 points at halftime. The entire Suns team had 27. It was a public execution that broke a franchise and gave Chris Paul his 5th 2-0 series lead collapse, an NBA record. This all led to Steph Curry's shining moment. Down 2-1 in the finals, he finally got his finals MVP, cementing the Warriors dynasty. Number 4, 2020. The bubble. While the world was shut down, the NBA stepped up and gave us the entertainment we needed. The weird, sterile, high-stakes environment produced some of the purest aura we've ever seen. The first round gave us the all-time scoring duel between Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell, trading 50-point games. Then Luka, on a sprained ankle, hit a 43-point triple-double step-back buzzer beater against the Clippers. The second round gave us OG's 0.5-second buzzer beater to save a series in the legendary 3-1 collapse of the Clippers, where Kawhi and Paul George flatlined. The conference finals were even better. Bam Adebayo had one of the greatest blocks in history on Jason Tatum, and Anthony Davis hit a game-winning 3 against the Nuggets. The finals were a battle of wills. The Lakers on a win for Kobe mission against a half-injured Miami team led by Jimmy Butler, who delivered a 40-point triple-double and played himself to the point of complete exhaustion, creating the iconic image of him leaning over the barrier, having left everything on the floor. The bubble was a once-in-a-lifetime event. I know some people try and say it shouldn't count and all that, but this was some empty gym, pure hooping. Beautiful. Number 3, 2019. This is the only postseason in NBA history with 2 series-ending buzzer beaters. First, Damian Lillard's 37-foot bomb over Paul George to cap a 50-point night, followed by the coldest wave goodbye in sports history. Then, Kawhi Leonard's Game 7 miracle against the Sixers, the first walk-off Game 7 winner ever. A shot that bounced 4 times on the rim as the arena held its breath. leaving Joel Embiid in tears. This was the first playoffs without LeBron since 2005, which made for the most exciting Eastern Conference playoffs we'd seen in years. The number 8 Clippers staged the largest comeback in NBA history, erasing a 31-point deficit against the Warriors. Steph Curry, with KD injured, went scoreless in the first half of an elimination game against Houston, then dropped 33 in the second half to end their rivalry for good. In the finals, we saw the death of a super team. Kevin Durant came back and immediately ruptured his Achilles. Klay Thompson tore his ACL, then limped back out of the tunnel to hit his free throws. It was a brutal, cursed end that allowed Kawhi to complete his legendary run, securing his finals MVP and bringing an entire country its first ever title. Number 2, 2011. In one corner, we had the new super team villains, the Miami Heat, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh.
But we also know you 3 kings came down here to win championships. Not 1 championship.
Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7.
They had become the most hated team in sports. In the other corner, we had a lone 32-year-old superstar on an aging roster, Dirk Nowitzki. Dirk's path was a gauntlet of legends. In round 1, he had to survive Brandon Roy's last ever miracle performance, a 23-point comeback where Roy scored 18 in the fourth quarter. Then, he faced the 2-time defending champion Lakers. Dallas demolished them in a 4-0 sweep. The series ended with a 36-point blowout in Game 4, where Jason Terry hit 9 threes and a frustrated Andrew Bynum got ejected for a cheap shot elbow on JJ Barea. It was a humiliating end that sent Phil Jackson into retirement. Then they took on the Thunder. Dirk opened the series with a 48-point masterclass on just 15 shots, going a perfect 24 for 24 from the free throw line. But the finals were his masterpiece. While LeBron and Wade were busy on camera, fake coughing to mock Dirk's 102 fever, Dirk was playing through it to hit clutch shots in the fourth quarter of Game 4. He hit a game winner with a torn tendon in his finger. And as the chosen one melted down, scoring just 8 points in that same Game 4 and only 18 total points in all 6 fourth quarters combined, Dirk and his veteran crew of Jason Kidd, Jason Terry, and Tyson Chandler dismantled the super team. Not only did Dirk take down the stacked Heatles, but he also silenced his haters. For years, people were calling him soft. This would put an end to all of that. Number 1, 2016. It began with the 73-9 Warriors, the team that broke the 96 Bulls record and had the league's first ever unanimous MVP in Steph Curry. They seemed destined to be crowned the greatest team ever. But in the very first round, the script began to tear. Steph Curry slipped on a wet spot in Houston and sprained his MCL, knocking him out for weeks. Elsewhere, Dwayne Wade was turning back the clock to win a 7-game war, and the Raptors finally won a Game 7, breaking a 15-year franchise curse. In the second round, Steph Curry made his return. Coming off the bench against Portland, he was quiet until overtime. Then he exploded for an NBA record 17 points in overtime, draining logo threes and screaming to the crowd, "I'm back, I'm back." At the same time, LeBron's Cavs were busy setting their own records, hitting an absurd 25 three-pointers in a single game against the Hawks. But the real shock came from the Thunder, who dismantled the 67-win Spurs, ending their dynasty in a 6-game upset. This set the stage for the conference finals. In the East, the Raptors, in their first Eastern Conference Finals ever, actually managed to steal 2 games from the Cavs, but LeBron's dominance was too much. The real drama was in the West. The KD and Russ Thunder stormed out to a 3-1 lead on the 73-9 Warriors. It seemed like it was over. The unanimous MVP was getting sent home. And then, Game 6 Klay was born. On the road in OKC, facing elimination, Klay Thompson delivered one of the greatest performances in history. He went nuclear, hitting a playoff record 11 threes and dropping 41 points to rip the soul out of the Thunder crowd and single-handedly save the Warriors' season. Golden State would win Game 7, completing their 3-1 comeback. It was Kevin Durant's final game in an OKC jersey. That brings us to the finals, the rematch. The 73-9 Warriors versus LeBron James. And just like in the Western Conference Finals, the Warriors went up 3-1. Then, the turning point. Draymond Draymond Green, after a swipe at LeBron's groin, was suspended for Game 5. LeBron and Kyrie became the first teammates in finals history to both drop 41 points in the same game. In Game 6, Steph Curry, in a rare show of frustration, fouled out, angrily threw his mouthguard into the crowd, and was ejected. It all came down to a road Game 7 for the Cavs, which gave us the two most iconic back-to-back plays in NBA history. First, the block, and then the shot. The Cavs completed the impossible, the first and only 3-1 comeback in NBA Finals history. We got the legendary LeBron meme. They dethroned the 73-9 juggernaut Warriors. LeBron unanimously won Finals MVP after leading both teams in all 5 major stats. It broke the 52-year curse for the city of Cleveland. The back-to-back 3-1 comebacks are just so hard to beat. This playoffs was special.